Hey, happy Monday. What the hell is going on?
Good
feel like I'm still
morning,
waking up.
right?
Waking up. Same. This is a very slow Monday. So,
Yeah.
man, I got a fitness watch. I got the Samsung Ultra. Dude,
Yeah.
that thing fucking rocks. I'm actually really impressed on how much more I am trying to do a lot more walking and things to get steps in. And it shows how much my sleep sucks. You know, I only average, and we got a guest on the show today.
Yeah.
So, oh, what's up, buddy? No, he doesn't want to say hi. I'm going to be shy and
No.
bashful today. I'm not going to say hi.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Not the Uncle No.
tell him Mr. Gibbs says hello. Run away, run away.
They so I started a tour chart with them, and they get like $1, $2 every time they do something, and they're full steam this morning.
Wait,
Waiting to see
how
how
do
long.
I get on that plan? I mean,
Okay,
I'll
you
do
can come
chores
over
like a
and fill out the
motherfucker.
plan.
$2 with a freaking chore. Put me in, coach. Peyton, is your World Series ring close by?
It's up in the cabinet up here. I can grab it real quick.
Yeah. Paul is like totally freaked out. Well, a lot of people don't know that you actually have a real. It's not a made-up one, but Peyton
Yeah,
is
it's not a
doing,
myth.
a lot of work with the Rangers doing their, was it the entertainment and videos and stuff, and a lot of editing and things for that.
I was AV coordinator, so I helped set up, tear down all of the events that weren't baseball related. So they have to make money when there's not a baseball game going on. So they rent out the stadium for all sorts of different events, galas. Sometimes it's just business meetings, but every one of them needs a microphone at least. And so I'm the guy planning, preparing.
Preparing? Is that like preparation? Yeah. I'm a little scared.
Yeah. Planning, preparing, sending out the emails to make sure everything's correct, and then I'm setting it up, operating it, and tearing it down. And it was just a lot. It was a lot of work.
But you were originally going to get it, right? They weren't going to give it to you.
Right. They weren't originally going to give me one whenever I got fired January, and they weren't giving out rings until April, May. So I sat on it. I emailed back and forth with HR for like 2 months, and then eventually they just stopped responding to me because my only goal was to pester them until they said yes.
That's such a great presentation in that box.
Yeah, right?
No,
right?
Yeah.
Just on the twirly table thing. Twirly table is the official name. That's what that's called.
It is, yeah. Twirly table.
That's just
yeah, it's cool. There you go, Paul.
Oh. I'm trying to get over to YouTube so I can reply a couple. There it is. Oops. I gotta turn this in. Anybody do anything rad this weekend?
I had a photo shoot with a bunch of cars. That was a lot of fun.
Were you the chick in the bikini on top of the cars, or what? I mean, I don't understand a photo shoot with.
Still working on that. We may get that like next year.
Gotta do a little working out and shit.
I want to see this part is really white.
Be like my ass. Like I have a farmer's tan like nobody's tomorrow. But if y'all saw my ass, I'd be blinding people. Classic car photo shoot. Like, were you out there taking pictures of cars and shit, or?
Yeah, so we brought on a new client. They are renting their cars out, and we found out why during the photo shoot. They were originally restoring them to sell them, but they're kind of like chickens. They never left the property. So instead, they're renting them out for photo shoots. But as we were shooting them, they were like, yeah, let me attach a gas tank to this one right here. So they're for photos only. They're not renting to drive.
Oh, they're not actually like, they don't drive.
Some of them do. Some of they had a Camaro that was beautiful. I got to ride in a Corvette. That was a lot of fun. It was a hardback removable. So it was
nice.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. Just hanging out in a garage and on a farm. The dogs jumped in the stock tank and were swimming. They had beehives. So a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
I saw a video, I don't remember where I saw it, but it's like in Kansas or something where they have old cars like that, but it's actually, they're all for sale. So they've all been fixed up and done, but it's like a car lot, but you go buy all these fancy cars. I'm like, fuck, I would go through that every day.
that was the intention when they first started. But as he said, he was like, I need a way to fund my habit, and none of these cars actually leave our lot because we fall in love with them. So
Yeah.
let's let other people fall in love, but we get to keep them. So it's like the grandbaby car where you go rent them out, let someone fall in love, but they come back at to the house at the
grandbaby car.
That's cool.
That's awesome. So, you drive out to some of these backcountry roads and you see all these old trucks and like semis. You're like, there's a story behind every one of these. I'd love to know some of the details, or they find the old garage find where they find a vehicle with like
those are probably definitely one of my favorite YouTube watches. Is people that just find these random cars and then bring them back to life. I'll watch that thing for hours.
I get hooked on those, and I get hooked on like the restoration videos. Like they find an old watch or something and they take it all apart and put it back together. I'm like totally geeking out over that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I just wasted 10 minutes of my life watching them fucking repair a freaking, we're all waving. Oh, wow. It's funny. I got YouTube up over here, so I get to see me looking like an idiot twice.
Nice. This weekend, I got to play D&D with a bunch of drunk fucks. That was fun.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, we normally play virtually, but this week, most of us were here in the same spot. So we all
piss poor planned Friday night, and we couldn't do our virtual game. We ended up having to do it Saturday night, and we did it in person. And it's a lot of fun anyways. But we got this one friend, Joe.
It's a very different beast.
Joe just loves to tell stories, and he's one of those guys that once he starts a story, he can't not finish the story. So we're like, Joe, we're playing a game. And he's like whispering in your ear and shit. You're like, Joe, I'm trying to pay attention, but he's got to finish. So sometimes you just interrupt him and like walk away. He will come back and find you later and finish the fucking story. He's a great dude.
The best part is that his wife told us that sometimes she watches the show, so she might get to hear this story again.
Well, it's pretty cool trying to finding out some of the people that I had no idea watch this show that do tune in, like people out in corporate jobs that see that, different family members and stuff. It's pretty cool to see who's all tuning into this. So,
Ashley, did you do anything over the weekend?
Nothing super exciting. Just hung out with the kiddo and did yard work.
Well, if you guys want to see absolute chaos, the Treehouse, which is myself, Liam Darmody, ABC, Annabelle, and Paul McCarthy, went live in this app called Roam on Friday. And you want to talk about squirrel derailed off the rails, freaking back forward to absolute chaos?
Yeah.
Go watch that video.
Oh, knowing Paul, I believe it.
Well, he was pretty chill. Actually, it was really weird. Donnie, I don't know. I think you went off stage at one point and we're in backstage. But when you're backstage on this, it's like you can hear everybody talking out here and you're talking right here. And it was like, I was like, all the noises. And I could not figure out how to turn off the emoji.
The crowd, the crowd, if they hit an emoji, play like drums or cheers or and it was
I couldn't turn it off or down. And I was like, I can't listen to anyone.
This is too much.
It was way too much.
Then
the cool thing that wasn't really what the purpose of that app is. It's meant to be a virtual workspace for like remote work teams. And for that, when I played around with it, would be so cool for a company that has people all over the country and can all be in one space at one time, but not really have to like be talking to each other. They can have their own office and people can come to your office and knock on the door and come in just like they normally would. I don't know. It would be cool for a remote team. I think
it's one of the better like corporate video setups that I've seen. With the interactions and stuff, but we totally broke it by going live and trying to use that. It's like if you go off stage, all of a sudden it wouldn't recognize your microphone, and at some points I'm talking through my webcam versus my camera, and it's like echoing through a canyon. But they're still young in the game, getting that up and going. If you're gonna have a lot of guests, it is a cool concept. Except for having Paul on there. Or me having to step in and cut a people off because they're just rambling on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, Gregory does not. I love him to pieces. He can't stop. It's like he can't stop himself, and so he just continues to add to the sentence. But you did a great job of handling him. Of like,
I was trying to velvet gloves him, but my high D was screaming to the nines, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I know.
But nice guy, extremely nice guy.
Yeah.
No, but I do like that concept where people can come up and ask questions and say subject work day. Oh,
yeah, no kidding.
No, Paul. We are not going. Go watch the video. You'll understand. You'll understand. So, all right, P, let's play some sort of game.
Yeah, we'll do something. Why not? All right, we're gonna play a group favorite. Would you rather?
No.
Would you rather?
No.
Donnie, you would rather not.
Just not.
Well, all right. Then what are we gonna do next, Donnie? All right. Would you rather always be 10 minutes late or always be 20 minutes early?
20 minutes early. 20 minutes early, without a doubt.
See,
I mean, if life could make me 20 minutes early to everything, then we would be fucking winning. I'm telling you.
That is my goal.
I would always say like 10 minutes early. Absolutely. 20 minutes early. I feel like I'm just sitting there for so fucking long.
I read an article that says people with ADHD have a high tendency to be late. That has never been my problem.
Okay, maybe it's the Marine because it's like my dad ingrained it into me that you're always 15 minutes early.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to the point now that if I'm like 5 minutes early, I feel like I'm late.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, when I first got into sales, it was so weird because it was 15 minutes and you're late, right? That was a whole Marine Corps thing. And I'd go to sales calls and I'd be sitting in the lobby and the receptionist would be like, your appointment's not for 15 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I'll wait. And it'd be like her and I just staring at each other. You try and create this awkward small talk, and it didn't ever really work. But
well, I mean, like in college, it was like I'd show up and I'd be like, "Yeah, I need to break this habit."
She's the only one sitting in the freaking room, just twiddling her thumbs.
Richard Price even says 15 minutes early.
Yeah, but that's a Marine Corps thing for him. So,
would you rather never have to do laundry again or never do dishes again?
Oh my God, never do laundry again. If I never have to do laundry again.
Me, never do dishes again. I don't mind folding laundry. I actually find that kind of peaceful for some odd reason, but doing dishes, hell no.
Yeah, I'm going to go with dishes, or I'll go with never do dishes again, because with laundry, I can sit down, put the TV on, put a show on, and just sit and kind of zone out and fold. I hate dishes. Like, if I could just go buy new plates, cups, and forks every time and throw everything out, I would do that all day long.
Just paper?
No, I don't want paper. I want like decent stuff. I just want to chunk it and throw it away.
Okay.
So I don't have to go and do
my
it.
child wears like 3 outfits a day. That's the problem in my house.
Yeah. Well, I've delegated that all to my kids, so I have about 10 more years till I actually have to do this.
Well, that's what Elizabeth and I were talking about. People don't have kids because they want to have kids. They have kids so they have slave labor.
I mean, for the first 10 years of my life, I was the designated remote control. Like,
so was I. It might have been 3 channels, damn it, but by God, I could get through them.
Yep.
Richard says, I will be 10 minutes late to do laundry.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, all right. Would you rather have a personal chef or a personal assistant?
Personal chef.
I like cooking, so I'll go personal assistant.
Yeah, I feel like I can get a lot more
all
done,
of
and
these
I enjoy
things are
cooking.
because I have children right now. It's because I have to deal with I just make other people survive. If I was only cooking for myself all the time, it might be different.
Rebecca says children are free labor and it's great.
Unless it's here in Jessica's case, because she's having to bribe her kids right now to do chores. So
that's true. At some point, you end up losing money, even though they're free labor. I don't know.
I don't know if they're actually free because you still got to feed them, clothe them. It's like there's no such thing as a free puppy because then you got to go buy all the food, all the veg stuff, all the collars. Yeah, they're never free.
Would you rather always have perfect weather or never have to sleep again?
Never
but always feel rested.
Never have to sleep again.
Never sleep again.
Definitely that one.
I do like sleep, but if I didn't have to do it,
yeah,
I'm a perfect weather person.
Okay,
Okay.
just the opposite.
After a while.
Nah.
you just want to go the other way. I get that.
No.
Do I get to say what my perfect weather is?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, let's go with perfect.
Okay. Would you rather give a TED Talk to 1,000 people or write a best-selling book?
Okay, so I need clarification on this. Is this New York Times best-selling book or is this Amazon best-selling book?
Oh, we'll go to the New York Times.
There's a difference.
New York Times.
The New York Times best-selling book then.
Anyone else?
I feel like I'd rather do a TED Talk.
A virtual TED Talk?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I would do a book, the New York Times best-selling book, because you've got to sell so many thousands upon thousands upon thousands of copies to get there.
Yeah.
I'd go that route. So give me the 25 or 50,000 book versus 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Good call.
Get in front of a lot more. Yeah.
Tracks, yeah.
Listen to Donnie using logic and shit.
I know that shit. I'm done. That was it. That was it for the week.
It's not supposed to happen, Johnny.
I'm out.
Would you rather attend a massive conference or a small invite-only dinner?
What do you guys think I would do?
I think you'd do the dinner.
Yeah. All day long. Invite only dinner. I actually hate crowds.
I would pick that also.
Yeah. I don't want to be in with all these crazy ass people.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's with good people. Paul even says small dinner.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next one. Let's say, would you rather have your work featured in a museum or go viral online? Now, a museum is kind of a weird one for us, but
yeah, I would say
I mean,
go
I'd
viral.
rather go viral online, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm a little devil advocate on the viral, because if you've had one piece of content actually take off, it's a lot of damn work. Trying to freaking keep up with comments and the like. So be careful what you wish for. But I mean, I would still go viral, but
interesting thought. What is going to be in museums 50 years from now? Is it going to be like the stuff that went viral online that's going to be displayed in museums?
It's going to be like the first
depends on
iPhone.
how you go viral. I mean, if it's not a good reason to go viral, then it might be around for the next 50 years. We're still talking about Watergate and, shit that happened, JFK assassinations and stuff like. So there's things that stick around.
Yeah,
but it's a valid argument.
All right, let's go to the next one. Would you rather hire for passion or hire for experience?
My answer's not up there.
What is your answer then?
Culture. I want to hire the person and then help them get the experience. But there are places where you really want the experience and hope they can get the culture.
Yeah, it depends on the role, I think. I generally would say I'd rather hire for passion or culture than experience, because in most cases you can teach a lot of the skill sets.
Yeah, but then you throw in, are they actually teachable? Because you can have some people that are passionate in culture but cannot take instruction.
That's also true. That's also true.
In the app, Smithsonian app for videos that went viral. That's what's going to be in museums.
Because that raises a good question, right? Like historically, it's stuff you go to a museum to see. Like the last 10 years or so, like everything's online. They're just going to have a big monitor there where you watch viral clips all friggin' day.
I expect like a hallway with multiple TV screens showing different things happening. Like, here's a clip that hit 19 billion.
No, I got it. It's going to be a whole 3D experience, so you can actually be in the experience. Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
There, let's knock out one more. Would you rather meet a sports superstar of your choice or meet a superstar actor of your choice?
Actor, and it'd be Matthew McConaughey.
Ooh, good choice.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I care.
No?
Yeah, I
And
don't care either.
mine was just because I want to hang out and drink a beer with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, no, that was an excellent choice. That was a good one.
Mm.
I don't
Bernie,
know.
you have one?
Tough one. That's so tough. I think I'd probably go actor, and it would clearly be Robert Downey Jr. so that I could wear the Iron Man costume.
Also a very good choice.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Well,
I mean, if I was going to pick a sports superstar, I would have dinner with Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, Jerry Rice would be up there for me. I want those guys that just freaking were beyond disciplined in their sport. So, yeah, but I really
don't really fangirl like that, I guess. Like I just
dinner maybe crying because they are so intense, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Jordan would be fucking fascinating to sit across from.
Yeah.
Because I bet he was an absolute asshole. At least a lot of people said on the court.
Oh yeah.
So, but when you're that driven.
Yeah, there are a lot of basketball players that don't like Jordan.
Yeah.
So we'll say he's the GOAT, but he's an asshole.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how it goes.
Same thing with Brady, right?
You could also say the thing about Larry Bird, man. I love how people talk about it. Like Larry Bird was the greatest shit talker on the planet.
Oh yeah, everybody says that.
I love it when the guys are like, Larry would talk shit, but it wasn't like he was derogatory. He was just telling you what the move he was fixing to do, and then he would do the move.
And he would do it.
And there's nothing you could do to stop it. I'm like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So they're like, the people that are the greatest are also the ones that are getting called they're an asshole.
Yeah,
usually.
Fuck
you. That's what. So very similar to what happens with you, Donnie. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. Yes.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. Here we go. So we don't really have a guest today, so I'm going to be asking y'all questions. I'll pop them up down below just like I normally do. But for you guys, as business owners, what do y'all do when referrals start to dry up?
Cry.
You cry.
I mean, for me, it's events, right? Like events is generally my main source for lead generation.
Yeah.
People are showing up to the events. They're interested in the things that I'm talking about. And that's an opportunity to potentially sell. I will say that, after cultivating a bit of a network within SCN, it's introductions never really dry up. Referrals, it's hit or miss, but I think introductions, you're always meeting interesting people and pulling the thread. Yeah.
So you're creating your own, or you're trying to find people to
Well, it's both, right? It's both. So, collaborations are big this year for me. I'm working with a lot of different folks, lead generation expert, actually got an event next week with her. Kind of combining offers. Where can we add value to each other's offerings and then go after similar markets together? Many hands make light work, as they say.
Gotcha.
So what I'll say when referrals dry up, I look at what my activities are, and usually it becomes I'm being too passive and not getting those new conversations into my business. It's usually because I'm hanging out in the same ecosystem that I'm used to, and I'm not breaking out of it to bring those people into my ecosystem.
Yeah, that's the first thing I do is I start looking for what did I do 30 days ago? Because I'm always what happened in a day is a reflection of what I did 30 days ago. Yeah. And you can usually point out where you pulled your foot off the gas, or you weren't doing the reach outs, the commenting, you weren't doing enough VCs, virtual coffees, whatever. There's always an indicator. Then I make sure that moving forward that doesn't continue to be a thing. So usually always some sort of you're doing something that's preventing you from getting referrals.
Usually always.
That's and I'm sticking to that.
Okay.
I say same as Bernie. Go places.
Ditto.
Just show up for show up for different meetings and such. Like I had reached out to a couple people locally because I do a pretty great job nationwide, I would say, of building a network. And I don't do a great job locally because I've always had clients that were all across the country and not local. And so I have had to be more intentional about showing up locally places. And so just finding events that make sense for me to show up at, and ChatGPT can give you a whole list of places to show up. So
yeah.
But if I gotta go be in public, man, that means I gotta drive off the farm, go into town, you know.
Oh, it is
put on
like
pants.
Yeah, put on your good hat.
Yeah. It's hard to get him off the farm.
Yeah. Like she tried to bribe me with be a podcast guest to go to one, but I'm like, man, that's an hour drive there. I got a people, hour drive back. Nah. Now, if you say, hey, you want to be on stage in Manhattan Times Square, now it's a different ball game. I'm flying.
There you go. Yeah. Here, another question I got for you guys. How do you approach raising your prices?
Say, look here, assholes. We're pricing everything up. Pay that shit. No?
I mean, at some point you just kind of, at some point you just have to be like, prices are being raised. Sorry. I mean, like what? You know, I sold direct mail for 1 million years and postage got increased every year. And so I wasn't going to just sit and take a hit on that every year. So it was just like, all right, prices are going up, boys. And I mean, prices are going up everywhere. So why would it not? Why does it not make sense for our prices to go up too? Just because it's a service-based business.
Yeah.
We struggled with that when I sold commercial printing because, you know, we would try and raise prices to meet demand, and some cheap ass printer somewhere would come in and undercut everybody. And we were right back down fighting for the bottom, you know, trying to get, you know, deals done, because when you're dealing, you know, with larger companies, we all had the same equipment. We all had the same turn time. We all had the same thing. So price became the biggest, you know, factor to winning new business. We could usually keep our old business, but winning new business was really hard.
Yeah.
In the website space, I've always find fighting to the bottom never works because it always screws you over. And it's not profitable. The margins aren't there. And so, and I did that game for a little bit, and I was like, no, this isn't the greatest business format. Let's go back to what we were doing and price on value versus race to the bottom.
Yeah.
I think a little bit depends on what you sell too. Like, you know, with websites, you got some custom, you know, ness to it, right? You've got some creativity that goes into it. It gets harder when it's not something that's, you know, like if you sell a widget, you know, that widget gets really, really hard to, you know, increase prices on. It's easier to do it with something that's more air-based, you know, creativity-based.
Well, tell me, how do you find what your price is starting out for people getting started in this, in your own business? How did you deduce what your pricing was at the beginning?
You set a price, whatever it is, whatever. So say it's $10. You keep raising the price until people start pitching.
You know, a lot of it is market research, I think. You know, for my business, learning and development, I had a little bit of experience as a contractor in the space, right? And then my predecessor, who I bought the company with, she always had a standard margin that was associated with it, and it fit within what the market was willing to pay. I will say within the last couple of years, particularly in the L&D space, contract work has gotten a little bit tougher. A lot of organizations, because there's such a flood of talent in the market, want to pay less because they feel like they can.
So if I look back to like when I first started, I was like, I'm happy with $40 an hour, but that was like 12 years ago when we didn't have inflation. But I think I based that price of how much I was making salary and how much I needed to make in my business. And at that time, it was just me. So I didn't have overhead cost of staff and everything as well. But as I continued to add people, then the costs started to increase as well, because I didn't want to do the work anymore. I wanted to pay people to do it.
I love the pet show we have alongside of this, between Ashley's cat running in, Peyton's dog jumping up in the window. It's, you know,
my dog. upset today for some reason. They want to go out really badly, and they just did a little bit ago, so they just want to go run and chase things. That's all they want to do right now. I'm like, just hang out for a little bit longer. We'll be okay.
Nice.
Well,
what's your...
with a lot of times, if you can not just increase price, but figure out a way to add value too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like when I was doing direct mail, that's a pretty easy thing to compare whoever else is doing direct mail, compare that pricing, right? But if you're adding a service or, have a dashboard that things go to that you can compile things for, anything that you can do to add a little bit of value can allow you to increase your price a lot more than if you were just saying, hey, prices have to go up.
Yeah, absolutely. To bring it to a different topic, what's your favorite way to revive a cold lead?
Oh, look, now there's a child even.
Oh, man, now it's alarm.
Man, between kids, dogs, cats, it's a day. Hi, honey.
We should bring our kids on and just let them have the show with
Oh,
dogs.
totally.
Yeah, because your kid made a show earlier.
Wow.
So that would be actually kind of funny to let our kids ask questions.
Alex would be 100% in on it.
Yeah, she would. No.
Although she would take over this show. Like, Donnie would not exist.
Hi.
All right, take the cat. Go in the other room.
That was almost creepy.
Hi.
Tell her that 10 million people just saw that.
Tell her what?
That 10 million people just saw that.
I know. Oh, she asks for her own YouTube channel, her own LinkedIn account, like all the things all the time. I'm like, no, babe. Not
Yeah.
yet.
That's why my kids are doing chores right now. They're raising money to buy a camera for a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't have kids, but the moment a kid looked at me and said, I want to start a YouTube channel, I'm like, yep, let's go.
I know. Well, that's the hard part is I'm like, we could probably make something good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you're setting beside them, then you get to protect them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's got to be scary as hell. I'm so glad I don't have kids. I know you guys love them, they're a blessing and everything else, but man, am I glad. So, Peyton's the closest thing I got to a kid, and that's enough.
No. All right, Donnie, I'll put this one up since you're up there. Most underrated way to get attention? YouTube?
Actually, for me, it's wherever the eyeballs are at the moment. So, like Substack is popping off right now. Yep. TikTok is still fairly easy to grab attention on. Anything that allows you to be seen. Guerrilla marketing. Like Dale Dupree put out a post this morning. I'm like, dude, where the fuck were you 15 years ago? He's like,
he does such good stuff.
He does. Yeah. Well, and his post this morning was like, if somebody says, hey, send me an email, most salespeople are trained to ask, well, what would you like in it? What details do you want? And blah, blah, blah. And Dale's like, screw that. Just tell them about your products and service. Type it up like you would an email. Take a screenshot. Take it over to Canva. Make that into a Canva post. Print that thing out. Mail it to them. Wait 2 or 3 days after the posters get there. And then send that call and say, hey, did you get my email? Which was printed in an envelope and mailed out.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm like, Jesus, where was that shit when I was coming up in the sales game? And he's got so many things that he does like that are just out of the normal from prospecting. So shit like that, guerrilla marketing all day long.
So one of my favorite things that I ever did was I bought a bunch of koozies from a gas station that were like random koozies with dad jokes on them and stuff like that, and put a $5 bill in it and sent it to 10 car dealers with a note with a business card that had a date and time and a note that said, buy yourself a beer, kick up your feet, I'll do the demo, whatever. And 7 guys showed up.
Oh, wow.
Like it was a funny thing. It was a fun thing to do. And after that, I tried other stuff that didn't work as well, but tell them to buy a beer.
I'll tell you what not to do. So one of my coworkers, when I sold commercial printing, Radio Shack was a big account of his. He did a lot of printing with them. 2 dumb things he did with that company. One, the president of Radio Shack at the time, they found out that he lied about his bachelor's degree. He never even went to college, but he worked his way all the way up to president. So they fired him once they found out. This dumbass sent flowers to the guy's house saying, sorry, you lost your job, wherever you land, hope we can work together, yada, yada, yada. The flowers made it to the house before the guy did. So his wife found out he was fired by the fucking flowers.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Then this is how he totally lost the Radio Shack account. He was coming down the elevator and bitching about the print buyer, saying the guy's an asshole, worthless piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. The print buyer's wife was in the elevator riding all the way down with him. And he had no idea. So he didn't work at our company anymore.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God, learn to keep your mouth shut, dude.
So yeah, the flowers got home and his wife found out he got fired by some random dude sending flowers.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I mean, it's attention.
Yeah, no shit. It's attention.
Yeah, I think I've told this story on the show before, but I left a voicemail for somebody one time. I had some sales trainer tell me to leave a voicemail and make your voicemail sound urgent, like they need to call you back quickly. And I did that, and the guy's wife was like due to have a baby that day. And so he calls me back and he's like, hello. And I'm like, hi, this is Ashley from Perk. And he was like, oh my God, my wife is about to have a baby. But he became a client.
So it worked.
Yep. Still know him to this day and see pictures of his daughter on Facebook.
So my favorite line to re-engage someone, and people use it all the time, is just reply back with a simple yes or no. That's all I need to know. And I just send that. And it's like one of the, like if I'm sending 3 or 4 emails and it's just been crickets, the simple yes or no just gets them to respond.
Oh, another fun one along those same lines is, were you eaten by an alligator? It works, right? You don't have to say anything else. You don't have to say, hey, I haven't heard back from you. Just put in a subject line, were you eaten by an alligator? Just let your signature be there and send it off. But if it's like networking, my favorite way to get re-engaged with somebody is to give them something first. So I'll think through who their ideal client is, and then, you know, who are 3 to 5 people they need to meet, and see if I can make those introductions before I ever say, hey, we should catch up. Because if you haven't talked to somebody in like, 10 years, and all of a sudden you get the, hey, let's catch up, they just became a financial advisor and they're trying to sell you.
They want something.
Yep. They became a part of an MLM.
Right.
I'm like, hey, yeah, let's talk real quick. I don't know. I don't think I want to.
Yeah, no.
All right, here, I got another one for y'all. How do you decide when to scale and when to stabilize? How does that change as you're going through your companies?
So I think you have to decide what kind of company you want out the gate. Do you want a lifestyle business or do you want a corporation? And I think you need to look at it from, do you want enough money to live fun, free, whatever, and live a lifestyle where you're making enough money, pay your bills, travel, and the like, not a lot of pressure, not a lot of overhead? Or do you actually want to build a corporation or a company where you're going to have a ton of employees, you're going to have a lot of overhead, and I think what plays into that is, what's the end goal of the company? Do you want to just sail off in the sunset and one day decide you're good, you don't need to do it anymore? Or do you want to sell a company and try and do a big exit? So when to scale happens right when you start the company.
Yeah, but
sometimes,
I don't think everyone goes into business thinking, I'm going to scale this company.
It's going to be massive.
Yeah. I think they start it for a personal reason. And then as they continue through their business, it starts to form and shape and develop. And then they start getting the big ideas of, hey, I can make this go big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There are some people that are, they're like, hey, can I sell this thing in 3 years? And they're going to try and either go down the funding path or scale path. But I'd agree that most people that are corporate escapees, they're just trying to replace the income they had from whatever job they were at.
Now, a cool story that I ran into at one of our happy hours is there's a guy that creates little mini pinatas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, have
He's
you
been
read?
around for years.
Yeah. So he told me the story of like he tried, what was it? It was some like exotic plants. That was his first try in business. But then he realized you can't ship plants across state borders because they're species and you're putting different species in different places. And so that got shut down. So then he went to Facebook groups. Is that me buzzing?
Yeah.
That's
I
weird.
mean,
Okay. Well, I don't know what's going on.
yeah, the pinata guy. So now he was really, really smart when 1 Million Cups came out, which is an organization that brings entrepreneurs together. He went around to all the 1 Million Cups pitching, this pinata idea, and used it as a tool to as a prospecting tool, and sold it as a client gifting, prospecting tool, and took him some time. But he's really taken off over the years, but it's 100%, grit and tenacity, and just putting himself out there regularly.
Yeah.
So,
but the way he found it was in Facebook mom groups. There was a mom doing it, and he was like, "Let's start shipping pinatas." I don't know what's wrong with my mic now.
I don't know.
no, it's still going.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Really
me.
Oh, that's really weird. I don't know. But yeah, he found it in Facebook Moms group. There was a mom that was doing it, and then he picked up the concept and ran with it, I think, if I remember right. So pretty crazy how people find success, in different varieties, in different ways. So
Yeah.
I'm curious from when you guys, if you could do something extremely just out of the box crazy for your company right now, what would be the most crazy thing you could think of that you would want to do for your business to try and either get exposure, attention, or just have a lot of fun?
I'm silent because I'm always balancing SCN and Buzzworks. So it's kind of like sometimes there's some days I'm thinking about how do I go loud in SCN, but then how do I also go loud in Buzzworks? So that's a good question.
Like for me, I think the craziest thing I do, and Elizabeth would never go for it, is I would sell everything on the farm, buy the biggest RV I could, fucking wrap the shit out of that thing in SCN, and I'd hit the road. Just go across country, hit all the Ren fairs, everything, and just go nuts with it. But Elizabeth would never go for that. So we're going to instead, I'm going to wrap a goat.
How does that? Wait. How does wrapping an RV and traveling to all the Ren fairs across the country help SCN? Help your company?
Well, one, the company pays for the RV, so that's helpful. Two, I get to go to all the Ren fairs, so I don't see the problem.
Okay. No, if I could, I'd try to get like a co-create webinar kind of thing going on where it's just all of the big heads of LinkedIn, kind of like what y'all do with the in-person lives right now, Donnie, and just get everybody virtually into a room and then send that out to as many people as possible and just put Produced by Magic Productions in it and just like
why don't you do that now?
I need to reach out. I guess I need to try something.
Yeah, I think you should 100% do that. You're connected to them all, this other thing, and do a weekly, just random, what micro influencers are going to show up today. Right. I think it'd be a fun kind of shock and awe live. I think I'd watch that.
Yeah.
But only if I was a guest regularly.
Yeah, I figured there was a catch.
Well, that question makes me think that I need to think bigger, Donnie, because as I'm sitting here trying to figure out what would be that extreme thing, nothing's really coming to mind for me. Like what would I do that would be that extreme thing? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Freaking streak across Detroit Lions football field?
Yeah, no, I don't want to go to jail.
Did you hear about the guy who did that? He bet on himself at Vegas.
Yes.
And he figured out how much it would cost to go to jail and get bailed out and everything. So he bet himself that somebody with Super Bowl or whatever would go streaking across the field. So he'd make money by streaking. So he streaked and bet on himself and won. So
I feel like that's something that's only going to happen once, though.
Yeah.
Vegas is not going to allow that to happen repeatedly.
Yeah.
No shot it's happening again.
Okay, I got mine. So it took me that long to figure it out. So I do something with beehives and starting like a nonprofit offshoot of having spaces where they're just organic spaces with beehives set up for the gardening spaces. I don't know.
You can put a beehive on my farm as long as you maintain it, take care of it, and I get all the honey.
Yeah, well, that's the other part is I don't have to maintain them. Remember, you take care of the animals, I'll take care of people.
Yeah. I'd love to have a beehive on the farm, but I'm not doing the maintenance and cleanup and all that.
It's too hot in Texas. Like I have a bee rescuer out in California. He's a client. And I said, why aren't you coming to Texas? He goes, it is way too hot to do beekeeping in Texas.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah. Here, I've got another one. Have you ever had to fire a client? And
Yes.
what did you learn from that? What did you learn from that?
Okay, so the client was, this was way back when I had my first kid. It was a sex coach. I was in the money whoring, I need business type of stage of life. I just had my first child. They wanted 5-minute responses to their email. So they would email me and they would want a response back. And so eventually it just got to the point of, and it was very nice. I was just like, hey, I just had my first child. I don't think this is going to work out anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the funny thing is those personalities, if you can think of Meet the Fokker movie, like that movie was based off of these clients. So.
Oh, the Meet the Fockers 2.
The what?
Meet the Fockers 2 with his parents. There's a parent. His parents weren't in the first one, were they?
I don't know.
I think they were only in 2. Because she's the sex coach and he's in, you know, crazy. Got it. It
was a referral too. It was warned.
Oh, well, that reminds me of Liam Darmody. You know, when he bought his house, he went, you know, after they had moved in, they went to a block party or something. And at the block party, a guy walks up and goes, oh, aren't you the person that lived in XYZ house? He goes, yeah, that's my old house. And he's like, cool, yeah. And somehow led into, well, we were swingers and we swung all the time in that house. He's like, really random that you just kind of throw that out there in the middle of the conversation. I'm like, was he trying to pick you up? I mean,
Richard Price says firing a client is the same as canceling plans. Feels fucking great.
You know, I've straight up just fired and said we're done. I've fired and said, wait, here's somebody else you should go talk to. But usually it's because of the over the top high maintenance folks. Or in one situation, they really were talking bad to my customer service reps. And they would talk to me one way, but when they talk to them, they talk to them completely different. And, you know, third time one of my reps came to me, I'm like, all right, we're done. We're not playing this game.
Yeah, I've had that too, where I have to step in because I'll have my project manager working with them and they just have a completely different tone with them than when they do with me. And I'm copied on the email, so I'm seeing the conversations. And so eventually I just step in and I'm like, and I push back on the client. So they've finally calmed down. So that was good.
Gotcha.
Thankfully, I have not had to fire a client yet. Knock on wood. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But
Bernie's like, I'm so desperate for business. I'll put up with a lot of shit.
I will whore out a lot right now.
So if you're an asshole and you're looking for, you know, some business, Bernie is hiring. Right. What's one thing you want your business to help you accomplish? Like, you know, what's one goal if your business gets dialed in, gets right, you get to do?
For me, it's time, right? Freedom of time, being able to choose what I want to do with my time. Spend a lot of time in my business right here in front of the computer. I would like to have more freedom to not have to sit here and do that all of the time.
Yeah.
So mine would be travel and experience the world, kind of not just by myself, but with my family and kids as well. Bring them along.
So that's mine right now. So goal number 1, all 50 states. So, which I will be pulling off, and Peyton, you're just going to get to tag along on that son of a bitch. So all 50 states, bring Elizabeth along, maybe some other friends along, as long as they pay their own damn way. And then freaking, I want to do it across the world. So
Yeah.
It just required me continue making friendships with all these damn micro influencers on LinkedIn, so their crowds show up for them when we come into areas.
Yeah.
So, you put Melissa Cohen's name on almost anything, and people show up. So, which is pretty cool.
I mean, mine is kind of the same, but I'm doing it as I'm figuring my business out. So I'm traveling as much as I can, as much as we can afford to, and making sure that I have time to do that and hang out and enjoy the places we go. My goal is to hit as many of the 49 that we can drive to in this rig, and then eventually find a plot of land that we can start a homestead on in the middle of nowhere, away from people. As long as I get Wi-Fi and satellite internet, I'll be good enough.
Oh, hey, I found 200 acres in like freaking, South Texas for $400,000. I mean, it can be done.
That's it.
No, that's ridiculously fucking cheap.
Yeah, for 200 is crazy.
No, like I could put a house here, put somebody else on the other side of the world, damn near, and never see them. Be awesome.
Yep.
So that would be awesome. So, all right, let's kick it up to upcoming events and shit. Anybody have any upcoming events or the likes, things we need to promote, market out there, put out there?
Yeah, I'm rolling into Eventapalooza here in June, Donnie. I've got John Browning's event on tomorrow morning, Build Wealth Without Worry. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then next week, Monday, I'm going to be working or co-hosting with Endora Macarat, with Lead Gen with Endora, Cash for Months. So an event talking about how you do multiple events to set yourself up for long-term success and cash.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cash for months. What if I want cash for years?
Well, it would be multiple segments of Cash for Months.
We just learn it over and over again until we actually fucking learn it.
That's right.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So, Jess, you got anything coming up?
If you're in the Fort Worth area, we're having a happy hour at Wine House, first Thursday, 5:30 to 7 in Fort Worth. So come hang out with us.
That this week?
Yes.
Shit. Damn, that means I gotta drive into town because SCN has a happy hour at Deanna's place and I don't show up. She's gonna whoop my ass.
I mean, we can do what we did for Chad and like print your face out and bring it along.
Perfect. Perfect. Then I don't have to come in.
No,
then I don't have to come in.
Peyton, I don't have any. No, I don't have any events coming up. I'm trying to do a monthly show of my own, and I just did that one yesterday. So
what did you talk about?
I had bullet points and I had a run through, and I was like, here we go, follow the bullet points. I ran through all of them in the first 10 minutes of my 30-minute show, and then freaked out and just told stories. I just told stories.
Got it.
So yeah, I learned just how fast I can talk, Jessica. That's what I did. I talk so fucking fast.
Yeah.
So I got messages afterwards. They were like, that was a good stream. And I responded with, it was a stream. Yes, it was.
Did you learn anything?
Oh, I learned I need to talk a lot slower, and I need a lot more bullet points just in case.
I caught like the first clip of it, and it was like, I don't know what this shit show is or what the hell is about to happen, but we're just gonna do some shit and see what happens.
Yep. That's pretty much how the whole thing went. Yeah.
Nice. No. Well, for us, we got the Badass Business Summit coming up, September 17th through the 19th. We are fixing to do some cool marketing and promotions, and ticket sales go up. Our price increase will happen on July 1st. So we'll do the first round of increases and start pushing. Got some cool marketing fixing to come out for that. But 3 days, amazing badassery, great networking, awesome people. And Bernie won't be on stage this year, so it'll be really, really good.
Yep.
So we're going to put Peyton on stage. He's going to have a 2-hour segment. We're going to give him 20 bullet points, so 1 bullet point for every 10 minutes, and see how he does up there. So
Donnie, I've actually been thinking about how do I get on the final stage where it's just a bunch of speakers for like 5 minutes. How Bernie ended up getting a main stage act. I've been thinking about putting together something to try and at least get myself on stage there. And
we'll submit a video so we can deny it.
Yeah, that's fair. Look how fast I can talk. Just look at how fast I talk. Look at this shit. Watch me go.
Yeah, the first year I did it, I had like a day warning. Donnie was like, "Hey, you're going to go up on stage for 5 minutes and talk."
So I think you did the panel the first year, didn't you?
No, the first year we were in the what it was, the Champions Table, and he said, "Hey Jess, you're going on stage and doing a VIP session for 5 minutes."
Good on you.
So
nice. Oh, I think that was the year Zach won it.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. We were the Hilton Garden Inn.
He had that whole cry story.
Sob story. So if you get a VIP ticket, you get a chance to submit a video. If you're selected, 6 people will do a VIP presentation up on stage, and whoever wins that VIP competition comes back and does a full presentation this year. So Stacy Alexo won it last year because she wore Bernie's mustache, and so she'll be up this year. And let me tell you, sad sob stories work.
But we banned them because of that.
So yes, because I'm not even sure Zach actually gave a full speech that year. He just made everybody fucking cry. So, well, guys, go have a badass freaking week. We are here every Monday kicking this thing off, usually bringing in a guest, putting them in the hot seat, and having a lot of fun right there. But get ready for some more exciting, crazy stuff next week as we continue to help you get your week started. Y'all go have some fun. Love you, mean it. See you, bye.